Bickley and Marotta. Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Legends are born in the World Series. They come in thunderbolts like Kirk Gibson and Reggie Jackson. They can be firecrackers like Bucky Dent and David Eckstein. But every October, someone rises in the Fall Classic. Someone goes boom. So who's it going to be, Arizona? Now, I think we learned we can count on Merrill Kelly and Ketel Marte and Gabby Moreno. All three of those dudes seem perfectly calm and under control on the biggest of stages. And if we can count on Corbin Carroll and Zach Allen, we are going to have a parade. Now, Carroll was a star for the first couple rounds of the playoffs, but the Phillies shut him down with a diet of high and tight fastballs. Carroll made adjustments with his hitting coaches before Game 7, and we saw a much better player, a much different player, and Carroll needs to be a driving force in this series, if not the driving force. And Gallen, he's got to win a game at least, either Game 1 on the road or Game 5 at Chase Field or Game 6 at Chase Field, and he has to rise to the moment. He's got to meet the moment, and he's got to beat the moment, or his reputation is going to suffer. Because in the middle of July, the Diamondbacks actually looked like title contenders, and right about that time, both Carroll and Gallen were named starters in the All-Star game. It was quite an honor for both guys, and that is what the Diamondbacks need to win their second championship. They need their all-stars to be October stars, maybe even legendary. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Yeah, look, you mentioned it. Look, Alec and Brandon Pfaadt were the two most mentioned players from opposing clubs at the deadline. And, yeah, we chose to hang on to them for these reasons. You know, we believed in their upside and their talent. And they're just two of the young 20-year-olds we have on our roster, right? Most nights we're rolling 4 23-year-olds. Perdomo just turned 24 the other day, he reminded us. But we're rolling out 4 23-year-olds in our everyday lineup. And then we got a rookie going Game 3 and Game 7. You know, it's been that part of it looking forward should, I think, make the community, the fans, even more excited when you look down the road. And, yes, we have a lot of unfinished business this year, but as you look what this team could look like, look, we have our Devin Booker, right? And I'm hoping that we play like the Suns and we can capture this market the way the Suns have. With a young, exciting team that's going to compete year after year.
We have our Devin Booker, Mike Hazen, general manager of the Diamondbacks, on with Wolf and Luke yesterday. Of course, he's referring to Corbin Carroll as that guy. And let's start with Corbin Carroll before this season even began. You got 20-plus games of him last year in a September call-up, and he did some fun things, and we knew he was highly touted. But what the Diamondbacks did contractually with Corbin Carroll raised some eyebrows around baseball.
Yep.
They gave him an 8-year, $111 million contract based on 20-plus games of Major League experience. Doesn't happen a lot. It's not completely unprecedented. But the Diamondbacks doing business in that way, we acknowledged it at the time. That's the way this team, in this financial landscape and where they are in the pecking order of market sizes and everything else, that's what they have to do. Draft, develop, identify, and reward in this case. And, man, that is going to be one of the biggest bargains in Arizona sports history when it's all said and done.
Yes. I totally agree with that. And I do think that Corbin Carroll needs to have himself one of those series because, you know, he's an interesting star in terms of this is kind of what we've done. This is what this year has been. It's been about Corbin Carroll becoming the Devin Booker of the Diamondbacks. And as we watch the growth of Corbin Carroll, there's a lot of good. His game is very unique to him. And I think there have been some weird, awkward moments along the way too. Like you would expect from any young player in his first full grind, his first full, go around the sun, if you will. So this is a stage where he's going to have to kind of be at his best and create that kind of chaos. And I certainly hope that he's up for this because this is right there for this baseball team. And one of the things that occurred to me was the Diamondbacks went from expansion team to playoff team in 2 years, and they won a championship in year 4. I used to cling to a very unpopular take that winning that World Series in '01, on one hand, was obviously a great civic experience, but on another hand, kind of was one of the worst things that could happen to the fan base. Kind of corrupted them, kind of made it think it was too easy. Success without any failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No blood in the game, if you will. So we've had that. We've had the bleeding over the last 20 years or so people have perspective now. And I would suggest that going from 110 losses 2 years ago to a World Series title is more impressive than going from expansion team to World Series title in year 4.
Yeah, including this year's participants in the history of baseball, Bick, there's only been 6 teams that have gone in a 2-year span from 100 losses to the World Series. There was only 4 before this year. Mm-hmm. The Rangers and Diamondbacks both can make that claim, and the D-backs actually a more extreme example because the Rangers lost 102 games, I think, 2 years ago. The Diamondbacks lost 110.
Yeah, that's a big number.
That is, when you get to 110 losses and above, that's rare air and not good rare air. So, yeah, this is just absolutely amazing. Mike Hazen, also with Wolf and Luke yesterday, talked what really made him proud is the locale, where the Diamondbacks were able to get this done.
I'm so incredibly proud of Torrey, the coaches, the players, how hard we've played. We've gone on 3 road series in a row and won. I can't underestimate or whatever how difficult that is in professional sports. Right? Like, you guys know that. Like, starting out every series on the road, and we're starting the next one on the road too, is just is very difficult. And the quality of the teams we've played. I mean, the Brewers were the hottest team we played and very talented. And then the Dodgers and Phillies, we all know the talent in those rosters.
Yeah, so again, like Mike Hazen pointed out, they're going to have to face this on the road again. 2-3-2 is the format for the World Series. So you got that possibility of 3 straight games in your home ballpark, but for a young team, especially, again, to do this away from home primarily is really unheard of.
Yeah. No, listen, it really, really is. It's to win 6 of 8 road games, to lose 4 straight coming down the stretch, and then suddenly win 9 of 12 in the postseason, most of them on the road. Yeah, there's none of this really makes sense, but I do agree with the idea of that whole locale thing. Doing that in Philadelphia, that probably, there's only a handful of other places where that would have hit as well as that.
Yeah.
Like winning in Boston, winning in New York, winning in Philly.
And I think Philly not necessarily would be on that list all the time, but that version of the Phillies,
yes.
And what they're feeling about their team, what they were feeling about that team during that series, I would definitely include them on that list.
It's what they did to that fan base. The city of Philadelphia is lucky they have those birds. As that video proved, they're lucky they've got the Eagles.
Birds. And one thing we do know about the Texas Rangers is they just lost all their home games in their last series.
Yeah, but they won 4 games on the road in their series.
That's true. Right, but if you're looking at like home field advantage, it's not the same.
No, not even close. But how about this too? Both of these teams through 3 rounds of the playoffs, both of them swept their best of 3. Both of them swept their best of 5. Mm-hmm. Both of them won their best of 7 in 7. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Wow.
That synergy between World Series opponents either.